Hey there, Deb here with Steven Johnson and Mike Van Norden, and we're going to talk a little bit about sales process and how successful investors get the deals and win in their local markets. And Steven's been a pretty successful guy out there and has really has done well since joining WeBuyHouses. And so we kind of wanted to start with just tell us a little bit about how you came into the WeBuyHouses system. How has it helped you, and what have your numbers been? People want to kind of know what has Steven Johnson accomplished.
Right, it's all about the numbers. Like, who is this guy telling you stuff, right? So, ultimately, I started years ago, but most recently, what brought me to WeBuyHouses is. I did buy in Austin, a very competitive market for a large home buying organization, and the first 12 weeks that I was buying for them, I got 12 houses. And
wow, that's impressive.
Impressive or not? I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm just like, this is nuts.
Right.
Because these were really good deals. And, everybody had told me how crazy it is in Austin. You show up and there's a bunch of investors, or you can't get people to sign on the spot. And, because they're going to want to meet with other investors. And that was never even really on my radar. And so we were able to, like I said, 12 weeks, however many months that is, 3 months, 12 deals. Some of them paid 26, sold as is for 70, or paid 95, sold as is for 184. All better than 70% killer deals. And I thought that was pretty cool. I worked with somebody that taught me a lot of good sales techniques. I've always been a sales guy and taught sales when I was in my early 20s.
This is sales, by the way.
And that's the thing. Yeah, this is.
Lest you forget what business you're in, guys. I mean, I won't get deep into this, but I'll let you continue. Go ahead. I don't want to get on a soapbox, but you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. If you get a call and you're spending marketing money, that's the most important thing you can do right now. And what I've done over time, basically after those 3 months, I realized, you know what, I'm making good money, but I should probably do this for myself. Mm-hmm. So I was able to take my results, and other investors basically gave me a bunch of money to come do this. And I spent some time after that, though, really trying to figure out what it was that eliminated people, like competition. Like, I never would hear from owners that, oh no, can't meet with you because of so-and-so. And I've finally been able to figure that out, and I think that's stuff that we'll talk more and share more with others. How I was able to be effective, but it did also work here in Waco. So I did that in Austin, and then came to Waco, and in the first been here 7 months
with WeBuyHouses.
Which to me is the most powerful tool. I have such a strong belief down the road in just the WeBuyHouses.com and internet and where, And what I found was the love for the business. Like, I don't think we had anybody in Waco. And like, people like WeBuyHouses.com. And they knew us right away. And I think I told you earlier, I spent my first advertising dollar. I want to say I bought the license like early February.
Yeah, it was in February, yeah.
And then I spent my first advertising dollar on a basic AdWords account. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't say basic, very good. Yeah. The account used that for me. And I've not forgotten the date because it's so significant. It was February 17th. And by March 19th, I had my first 2 WeBuyHouses flips. And I'd already done a wholesale deal on a manufactured home I didn't want. I made a quick $2,000. And since then, I've done. I'm on deal number 21. It's been 7 months. I've spent right at $4,000 a month marketing.
Wow.
So $28,000 marketing. I've got 17 flips, 4 wholesale deals that are done. Of those 17 flips, the first 5 that went on the market have all sold. 5 more it couldn't be going better for me. 2 different markets. Couldn't be any more different markets.
When you say two different being Waco
and Austin,
Waco Austin.
And 2 good companies, but to me one that's real. This is to me an amazing company. Like, this is the home buyer company as far as I'm concerned, and I think that helps. But really, it doesn't matter the market
because Waco. What's the population of what a couple 100,000?
McLennan County is like 240, but Waco is like in the hundreds, like 170,000 people. We don't have an airport.
And those 21 deals originated from those 2 counties.
Most of them are just in Waco.
Most of them are just in Waco. So, because a lot of people say, well, my county doesn't have 1 million people, or my city only has 300,000, and you would say,
and that's not to brag, but just to kind of give you guys verification that I know what I'm doing, but also to show, hey, Austin, that's the pinnacle of big market, smart money, big money. Everybody's been in Austin for years now. That is a lot of talent. Very similar to Dallas, Denver. You're meeting the best of the best flippers. And with the right sales approach, because it really is sales, and taking that call, making that connection, letting that homeowner's laziness kick in, and they say, you know what, I got my guy. Dev's coming over, and we're all set, honey. So let's go watch that ball game. And that's what and it works on Austin. It works here, and then when you're the only one, and
I've always felt that people that contact us, they're on a mission. And when they feel like they have completed the mission, they'll move on to other things. Filling out a form on the internet is not the completion of the mission. And so, but when Stephen calls them, and 30 seconds after they hit that form, or if they call you and you answer immediately, and now you're talking to them, now you're engaged, now you're coming out, they've achieved what they set out to do. And I see this all the time, that once I make the appointment with the guy, I know that they rarely are making more appointments. I mean, maybe if I was the first guy they talked to.
Think about it this way. If you didn't get back to them right away, miraculously, they don't answer the phone when you call.
Exactly.
Right.
Because they already had the
2 hours.
They already had the problem taken care of.
2 hours later, it's probably 80% dead lead.
Because it was already taken care of.
24 hours later, it's a 95%
That shows you how desperate they are for you to hopefully show up and solve their problem.
Right.
And by show up, I mean, you got to show up on the phone.
Absolutely.
And just by the way, to me, that's really where it all starts.
It all starts on the phone. But I want to touch on the numbers here just for clarity. So you're at 21 deals now, and your average net per deal is?
Well, we haven't had our really kind of big flips where we got one where we're going to make about 80, I think, minimum. But on the first 4, they average out net exactly 31 and change net profit after all.
31,000, not 3,100.
31,000 net after everything on the first 4 that closed, and then the 5th is under contract, and I think it's going to be like 33 or something.
So between now and end of the year, let's say dead zone, no more deals, you still had a great year with WeBuyHouses.
We'll make 5 if our average doesn't change. And I'm already getting offers on one that I just got to brag on this one. My second WeBuyHouses deal, 125. We're in it at like 38.7 or something, and I've already got people wanting to pay 250. and so. But that, yeah.
So
yeah.
that's your license fee, and so
we
so
could
just
stop
to give
working
people
and just finish the flips we have, and I think it'd be probably God willing, and very fortunate that we'd make about $500,000 this year.
$500,000, and we're not claiming that you're going to make $500,000. So let me
Definitely
just disclaim
not,
that now. But this is a real guy in a fairly small market, using the We Buy Houses marketing, branding, licensing. And
solely. I don't have.
This is what he's doing.
And a huge base of experience. He's a licensed real estate agent, but you're not out there listing houses.
Right.
But it allows you to get referral fees on the deals that really turn into listings.
Well, that's
right?
been. I'm glad you brought that up. That's been one of the neater things about. I have a license, and so to me, I don't know if we'll talk about this later. The evaluation side of it. Is that
sure?
But a lot of investors are concerned about getting a license, and I don't give any legal advice or whatever, but they're worried about, well, if I have this license and I break this rule or whatever. But those are rules that pertain to the real estate industry. It's not like you go to prison. So it's like you should get a license and really know your area. For me, that's been huge in Waco and Austin. They're hot markets. Things are jumping around a lot. You're trying to find that little kind of corner that's just right next to the hot area, and you just kind of are piecing together, and it all starts tying in where you're going to focus your marketing is there the little less hot areas and the better price levels, and it just all kind of starts building on itself. But having that license and knowing those values is what leads to that increase in sales. And then the, I guess, final kicker would be if you want to refer a listing, you can. You'll get a call from somebody and they've got a house that is worth $400,000 and they owe $350. You can still help them, and not, you can't flip it, but you can still help them. And there's ways to do that.
A number of guys just tell us that the We Buy Houses is like a funnel, and the people that fall through the funnel want to sell their house.
Yeah.
So you can have a range of solutions from buying it for cash, listing it,
And look, I know a lot
and
of
in my case, I just to wrap that up, what I was going to say, in
that
that case, I have an agent that I trust, but I just basically call her up, and because I have a license, she puts me as co-agent, and we split commission 50-50.
But
I don't do anything, and that's not. That's just for leads that I can't help by buying it. I still help them that way.
You spoke to something earlier. I think that I just want to make sure people understand kind of what the issue is. There's this thought that if I have my real estate license, that I'm held to a higher standard, which is true.
Very.
But some people feel that is in conflict with being a real estate investor, which I find to be an outrageous thought, because the idea is, well, real estate investing is kind of shady, and a real estate license is this shiny thing.
Which is weird.
And the weird thing is, when you're out, the basic thing that I think a real estate license gives you is it gives you knowledge of real estate, which, believe it or not, you don't get in a weekend seminar. Mm-hmm. And it gives you knowledge of your market. It gives you access to the MLS. It gives you connections with brokers. It gives you a lot of things in the real estate community in your market that are very, very valuable to you as an investor. Whether you ever go out and list somebody's house, you probably aren't a buyer's agent, none of that, but there's a tremendous benefit to having that. And I think your point was, there's no risk to being licensed if you are an ethical, professional real estate investor.
Right.
Right? I mean, your full disclosures, following every rule.
9 times out of 10, the seller knows what the home's worth. Like, I'll say, what do you think it's worth? Fixed up, and they'll be like 125, and I'm like, well, I don't even know that. Okay, and then she was more right than me. I got 120 for it. I'm like, so it's actually ethical. Like, everything is this for a reason, and there are many people that just need us, and then there's others that that don't, and having that license,
But
you don't have to be
you don't have
afraid
to
of
be.
like.
But I do want
you
to
just have to be
interject.
honest
Yeah.
and disclose it, and get your attorney to draft up a little thing that you can attach to your contract. And one thing I tell everybody when I go through the contract, I get special provisions. I say buyer's license agent, real estate agent, say Texas. I say basically I'm gonna try and make a lot of money if I can, and hopefully it works out. I make a ton of money if I can on this house, and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." What else?
They want their
you
check.
know? And you never,
Just give me my check, Steven.
You never lie, and
No,
it's definitely having that license though,
Yeah.
and knowing those numbers and running values and CMAs. I mean, to be a legit, real investor, you're going to have that license. You can't do it without it. Not in my opinion.
Well,
I shouldn't say you can't.
I do want to, because I do want to interject here and say that the vast majority watch right now
Don't
they
have
have zero desire to get a license. I have zero desire to get a license, but it doesn't mean that you need a license, because Stephen would have been just as successful, I would say, if you didn't have it. Or let's just put it this way: you would have been successful.
I would have been successful.
Had you been purely an investor like most people watching, you would have still crushed it.
With no doubt.
But he's just saying,
but with the
it
license,
is an advantage.
You're just able to know the numbers a lot better. You can look at stuff on a regular basis. Like, for example, I was trying to figure out if I could afford to pay a certain amount for a house the other day. I didn't have the comp I needed, so I called the house that was under contract. That's only available on the MLS. The agent talked to her, found out it was still likely to close, and so I moved forward based on that information. So just little stuff like that will help you. But I know I probably misspoke. You're right. You don't have to have it to do and kick a lot of butt. But man, it's a great
because a lot
great
of people,
tool.
right? I get it. I totally get
it.
And I just know that a lot of investors, they're just not going to want to go through the process of getting the license, the state test, all that. It's just like, I'm already doing deals. Why, But I totally understand where you're coming from on but it's not a necessity. Was my point.
Not to be,
be a successful investor, and that was it. But you do make some great points about the advantages of being licensed.
I think you said it best there.
Well, and I think life is about evolution, and so I always say you start from where you are, right? I start today as an unlicensed real estate investor, and based upon the fact that he sees an advantage of it, that may be one of the things that I want to plan. Is that in the coming year or so, or to go get my? I actually studied for mine and I didn't play it out. Got too busy, but. What you learn about real estate and about real estate law, a lot of it is about law and regulation and compliance. And I tell you, some of those things could be the things that save you later on in your real estate career. Just understanding.
Could be very helpful on the sell side.
Yeah. And so what I want to do is wrap this segment, because we're going to have like about 4 or so segments of this, and I want to wrap this one so we can take a little break, and you as a viewer can take a break. And then we're going to start up. We're going to jump into sales process from the point that someone contacts us to the point that we're at the closing
Sounds
table.
good.
So,
Awesome.
all right. We'll see you in a moment.
Cool.